This is Hebrews 12:6. For whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth, and he scourgeth every son whom he receiveth. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Akafadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings and salutations to the Ophir elect. Shalom. Yahweh being in the name of God, who the world ignorantly calls God. Bahashem in the name Yahushai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Again, it's not God, it's not Jesus Christ, it's Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai. Those are the true names of the Heavenly Father and His Son, and those are the names you are going to need to call on in these times to come and save you. Ain't no other name given among men whereby we must be saved. The only true names that are going to save you is Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, and they're coming back to redeem the 1/3 of the elect, which you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native, and Seminole Indians, and 2/3 are slated for a sore destruction. This your brother Shadak Shar, and I'm coming back with another quick lesson. Basically, going into whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth. In this truth, you'll go through many fiery trials. You gotta prepare yourself for temptation. And one thing we always must remember when we going through hardship and suffering, that doesn't mean that Yahweh Shemashah isn't dealing with us or anything like that. Because when you read Hebrews 12:6, it says, for whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth, right? So if the Lord loves you, right, he's going to correct you. He's going to discipline you. It says, and he scourgeth every son whom he receiveth, right? So he punishes each one of the son that he accepts as his son. You see, this is why you shouldn't be, despising the chastenings of Yahweh Shemashah. Because if he's, putting you through something, that means he's accepting you as his own. You see, because when you go here, Proverbs 3, we're going to start at 11. It says, my son, despise not the chastenings of Yahweh, neither be weary of his correction. Don't reject it, right? Don't reject the Lord's discipline. Don't be upset when he corrects you. You see, and a lot of people be upset and they reject, the Lord's discipline and his correction. You see, especially when they get corrected. It says verse 12, it says, for whom the Lord loveth, he correcteth. You see, it's just like a true father. A father will correct the steps of his child. If a father doesn't correct the steps of his son, then he really doesn't care for you or your well-being. That's not a true father. A true father will correct you when you doing wrong. Will whoop you if when you do wrong. That's discipline. He's showing you discipline, correcting your wrongdoings. That's what Yahweh Shemashah did to us. All he did was be a father to us. You see? So it says, for whom Yahweh loveth, he correcteth, even as a father in whom he delighteth. And Yahweh Shemashah, his pleasure, right, is of his people, man. You see? He delighteth in you Jakes, man, you Israelites. This is the reason why he basically take his belt off and whoop us. You know, he's correcting us from our wrongdoings. You see, let's click this word delighteth. To be pleased with, be favorable, to accept favorably. To be pleased with, be favorable, to accept, right? Satisfy, seek favor. You see, Strong's definitions. To satisfy, right? Let's see what it says in the. Let's see what it says in the Google. It says to take great pleasure, joy, a satisfaction in something. You see, you know, Yahweh Shemashah take great pleasure in his people. You see, same thing. Take great pleasure in, you know, that's in his people. And that's the Israelites. So it says, again, for whom Yahweh loveth, he correcteth, even as a father, the son in whom he delighteth. So Yahweh Shemashah delights in you Israelites. This is the reason why he correct us for our wrongdoings. You know, this is why, you know, you shouldn't be despising the chastenings, right? Because that's all it is. It's just chastening, correction. Correcting our, you know, wrongdoing. So back in Hebrews 12, in verse 6 again, it says, for whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth, and he scourgeth every son in whom he receiveth. So if Yahweh Shemashah accepts you as his own, then he's going to discipline you. See, he's going to correct you. It says, verse 7, it says, if ye endure chastening, the Most High dealeth with you as with sons. You see, endure goes into suffering. Ye, meaning you, it says to remain, right? It says to remain, abide, right? Not or flee, right? To preserve under misfortune, trials, to hold fast to one's faith in Hamashiach. It says to endure, bear bravely, calmly, right? So you gotta hold your faith under, suffering. You see, it says to undergo in the Strongs, to stay under, right? Abide patiently, suffer. So you gotta endure suffering. You gotta abide. You gotta undergo. It says if ye, meaning you, right, endure chastening. So if you endure suffering, the Most High dealeth with you as with sons. For what son is he whom the Father chasteneth not? It says in the NLT, it says, as you endure this divine discipline, right? Remember that the Most High is treating you as his own children, right? It says, who ever heard of a child who is never disciplined by its father? You see? And it's just like Jake in the world. You gonna teach your children, right? Discipline. A true father is gonna teach them the ways, chasten them when they, do something wrong, or it's correction. And Yahweh Shemashah is gonna correct our steps each and every time because he loves us. If he didn't, he'll just let us be like we is. You see? It says, verse 8, it says, if ye be without chastening, wherefore are ye partakers? Then are ye bastards and not sons? If you, right, ain't going through anything, your life is just seeming good and you ain't receiving no type of chastisement, no correction, no discipline, hey, you basically is rejected. Most High ain't dealing with you, right? Most High doesn't accept you as his own. See, it says, if the Most High doesn't discipline you as he does all of his children, it means that you are illegitimate and are not really his children at all. You see, because Yahweh Shemashah have chosen us through the furnace of affliction, suffering. That's Isaiah 48 and 10. So if you ain't going through no type of suffering, right, and you just, of course, Yahweh Shemashah might, make it easy in a sense, but it's like if your life is in a good case and you ain't got no type of correction, no discipline, then Most High ain't dealing with you. He don't accept you. See, because when you come to serve the Lord, you got to prepare your soul for temptation, testing. Your faith will be tested. You see, he got to see if you going to show loyalty, in a sense. Prove your faith through suffering, that fiery trial, right? You see, so don't despise the sufferings, the correction, the disciplines of Yahweh Shemashah, because it's only showing that he accepts you and he's dealing with you. You see? And like brothers can attest, like, you go certain days and you don't get no type of chastening, you be like, oh shit, what's going on? Like why I'm not getting, chastened? Why I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Shit. But if y'all bust you my shot, put you through suffering, you going through that fiery trial, hey, Al Bashar Mashad is dealing with you. He accepts you. Right? So with that, I hope this lesson was edifying. The point was made. Once again, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Kafadash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings and salutations to the elect. Till the next time I say, Shalom.